Oh man, I'm already over. I gotta go, but let's see what he's saying.
Oh,
Hello?
you gotta go.
It's fine, man. What's up?
Hi. Sorry for the wait. I completely forgot my computer was upstairs, so I had to run back up and grab it. But I was just scrolling on YouTube for a little bit. I was gonna take a nap, and then I saw this live stream. I think it said "Defend Christianity," and I clicked it. I looked at the description, and it said, "Can Christians prove from the Bible that Jesus is God?" Is that correct? Is that the topic for Christians?
Sure, yeah,
Okay. If you want, can we talk about John chapter 1, verses 1 to 18?
sure. So just give me the gist of it. Are you Russian?
No, wait, did I sound like I have an accent?
No, you don't. I was just confused with the thing under your name.
Oh, no, 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 no. That's Greek.
Oh, okay, okay, makes
No,
sense. All right.
it means Jesus Christ is Lord. That's
Okay,
yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Um so did I do this right? I did it right. Okay. Sorry if I
You think
make a
so?
few mistakes. It's been a while. Bless you. It's been a while since I walked through this. But basically my argument from this in John 1, well, it's a little bit complicated because I got to go through the whole text. So I'll just start with John 1 1 and we can keep going from there. For John 1 1, I kind of argue that the first clause demonstrates the word is eternal. The second clause demonstrates a distinction between the Father and the Word. And the third clause identifies the Word as deity. That's the basics. If you want to go, we can go a little more in depth.
I want you to say and make your case, and then I'm gonna start asking a few questions and give you a little pushback, and then we'll see.
Oh, okay. So the full case for the John
So
1?
so you were gonna go all the way till verse 18, right? So go for it.
Yeah. Can I share my screen? Just make this a little easier so people can see what I'm saying.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask your permission because I don't want to be one of those people that likes to come in and trick you without knowing. So is it okay if I repost this discussion on my channel or no? I want to get your permission first.
You can do it, man. I've been a troll in my early teenage years, so I
Okay.
I have pretty thick skin. Go
Okay.
crazy.
Okay. So John chapter 1, I might have to pull up the Greek as well so people know what also I'm saying. But starting off, I'll try to be quick. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." To basically break this down as fast as I can, the beginning here refers to creation, and the way it's phrased in the Greek makes the word eternal. The word "ein" in Greek is in the imperfect indicative tense, and the imperfect indicative is a progressive past action, which means that it's an ongoing past action, and there's no indication on when it begins. That past action, it just goes on. So, excuse me. So if you have the word "was," as far back as you want to push that beginning, the word is going to already be there. The second clause here, we have the word being with God. So I think you might press me on this point. I'm assuming we'll see, but I'll say that there's a distinction here between the word and God. And what I would argue here is this is a reference to the Father, because when we keep reading, we see the Father mentioned in verse 14 and verse 18. I believe those are the only two in this passage. Uh, then here, um, probably the most controversial part of the verse, the word was God, which is in Greek "kaitheos" and "halagos." So this is what's called Caldwell's rule. It's like a linking verb phrase. So if I say something like "I am human," I am referring to what I am. So here it's not referring to the word being personally God here in the second clause. It's referring to what the word is by nature, God. You can also translate this as a deity, I could say, or divine. Verse 2 just says the same thing as this here. The word is with God, same thing. Verse 3, I would argue, is another proof of its deity, of the word's deity, because it says, "All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made." And if we go to Isaiah 44:24 and Job 9:8, creating is a prerogative of God alone. Verse 4 is an interesting one. It's the word having life in himself. These two verses aren't super relevant to me proving my point that he's God, but it's we can walk through them really quick. It's the life giving of the word, and darkness is parallel to death, and it could not overcome him. Um, just to go through this quickly, because this also doesn't really go to my point. This is just the narrative. It talks about John the Baptist who prepares the way for this word, who's called the light here. Verse 10 is interesting. It says, he was in the world, and the word was made through him, repeating what is said in verse 3. And the world did not know him, so they did not recognize him. He came to his own did not receive him. And it talks about the people believing on him that are born not of flesh, they're born of God. I'll continue from from verse 14. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And it parallels in the Greek, it parallels the language of the tabernacle. The word dwelt, I believe it's the word dwelt in the Greek, is technically means tabernacled, and it parallels language about it because it says, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. You can see in the Old Testament, the tabernacle, God's glory was shown. I'll have to try to look up the verses because I don't remember them off the top of my head. This one's interesting. Verse 15, John the Baptist says, he was before me, even though John the Baptist was born first. So that seemed to indicate a pre-existence of this word here. Verse 17 tells us clearly that it's Jesus, not some other. So when someone says that the word is some other entity, I would argue no, it's Jesus. And then verse 18, this is also where it says no one has seen God at any time, which I would say is the Father, given the verse mentions the Father right here, but the only begotten Son, who's been shown here to be divine himself, has made him known. So sorry if that was a little choppy. I'm a little tired right now, but hopefully that was good enough.
No, I usually ask people to just land with the point, but you were being very informative, so I was like, okay, let's keep this going.
Yeah, I
So
try to be as fast as I can
that's
because
okay, man. Just let me know
yeah,
when you're done.
yeah. You can if you want to ask questions now or whatever, go ahead.
So the first thing I want to ask you is, so there's, I don't know if you know this or not about your religion, but in Islam, there God have attributes, right? Because
Right.
if you don't have any properties, then you're basically nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let me just put, so my back is hurting. Uh, gonna put this on here for my relevance and making chapters later. So I know. So grant, I'm gonna grant you because we're not discussing something hostile right now, and we are not going into like if Bible is historically reliable and this and that, all of those things. So I know in a lot of places in Bible, a New Testament, there are references to the word God or Theos. John 20:28 is there where Thomas answered him. Titus 2:13 is there. 2 Peter's 1:1 is there. Romans 9:5 is there. John, just like you said, that was like my one of the first documents I made for John chapter 1 from 1 to 14. I stopped at 14. So those things are there. But the thing is that a lot of Muslims and a lot of Jewish people who have read New Testament, because a lot of Jewish people are like Muslim people who have not given any thought about New Testament or what Christians think. For the majority of the part, especially if you're talking about Asia, right? But there is a concept of a second subordinate God, which is there,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the Bible as well, right? Because there are a lot of explicit statements. Again, we're not going into explicit statements and what someone can take out from that, or if something is a mystery. And then you have a lot of church fathers who are, after explaining Trinity, right, the Nicene Trinity, they have said that statements like it's a mystery, it's a theological mystery. If you understand God, then it's really not God. Stuff like that. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Somewhat,
So,
yeah.
so I can just tell you first, like what Islam believes. So anything which God speaks, God speaking or God doing something cannot become another God. For example, your action of going upstairs to grab your computer, that running or jumping or hopping or skipping stairs did not become a second young Christian. You were always one person. You can speak, you can laugh, you can jump, you can do all of those things. Now, the second thing is there was a point in time when God was not speaking Torah, and then he did. There was a point in time when God did not speak whatever Jesus was preaching, the gospel, and then he did. And there was a point in time when God did not speak Quran, but then he did. And all of those things, and also there's another thing about what God is thinking. So there is all knowing God. But right now, God knows that as far as Canada is concerned, it's Tuesday. So today, God is thinking it's Tuesday. Tomorrow, God's going to think yesterday was Tuesday. All of those things does not mean that those things become God as well. So for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all his speech is genus of his speech. Each instance of his speech would be instantiating that genus. So and for us, the word of God in Islam, or how it's used in Quran, it's an honorific title given to Christ. Like we can go deep into, like, if there's a difference between something was created or something was begotten, and do not use the word created but use the word begotten. And then if something is begotten but they existed at the same time, all of these things does not make sense, especially to Muslims and Jews, and I'm pretty sure to the companions or disciple of Jesus. So these are certain things which I think a lot of things can be written about. I'm not sure if you have accepted any best possible explanation, or if you have rejected, let's say, five best possible explanations given to you about this. But if you'll just start with, what's the difference between creating and begotten? Like, can I say my mother begotted me, but then my mother begot me, but she was there at the same time as I was?
Repeat that your mother begot you,
Yeah,
but she
right.
was there
That's a
this.
fact. Yeah, but can I say that I existed at the same time as my mother? Like
Um,
in the form I am
wait,
right now, not in there's an egg in female, and that egg, when that egg is being
right, right,
formed, there's another egg in it. I'm not talking about those medical
right.
things.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so.
So you as like an individual, while before your mother begot you, you did not exist. And are you talking about the eternal beginning of the sun? Because there's an
Yes,
analogy I heard on
yes,
this that's very
yes, yes,
interesting. And I
yes.
don't know if you heard this analogy, but
Go
it's
for
very interesting. Um, so before you existed, or any of your, I don't know if you have any siblings or whatever, but before you existed, was your mother, or was she just whatever her name may be,
it.
right?
Yes, I would love to answer that. I don't see how that's analogous, but
Well,
so just a segue from the conversation for Muslims, and in uh, philosophy. I don't know what form of philosophy you resort to, but the body. I'm not sure about Christianity or anything. It has nothing to do with religion, but there are certain philosophers who believe that your body is an accident. Your body is not you. Your soul is you. So there's also a difference between what Muslims and Christians call soul and a spirit. So for us, the soul is us. The body is just gonna go back into the mix if they decide to bury me, or if some people try to get cremated. But the soul is basically you. The body is accidental.
Okay. Can I don't think I fleshed out my point enough. So can I explain
No,
what I
so
meant
yeah,
by my
you
question?
were yeah, you were saying that before I was born was my mother still my mother. So in God's divine plan, he knew.
Okay.
But what we call, because we reflect light, right, we are physical beings, so we are talking about Jesus Christ as physical being is what my point was. But I have several other points about, you know, begetting at the same time and not, but I want to know how in, let's say, whatever answer I gave to my mother being my mother before I was born or not, what were you going to say after that?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of explore the point of she existed as your mother as long as you existed, or whoever the firstborn in your family is.
But
And
the thing
so
is, sorry to cut you. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, so it's fine. So or was I? Oh yeah, so in the case of God and the eternal begetting, what I've heard is that, and I don't know how super accurate this is. This is just what I've heard, and it seems to make sense. And I'll just clarify: I'm not super good at philosophy, so I'm not here gonna try to proclaim myself as this like, oh, I'm Socrates or whatever.
But you are, sorry to interject, but you are aware of, time as, have you read about time being an abstract concept or a mental construct or something? Have you read something about dimensions and time before, or like, do you believe God is, according to Christians, outside of time and space, something like that?
Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't taken time to research it yet. I have a philosophy book that I want to work through. There's just other books I'm currently reading, so I haven't gotten to it yet. But I do want to learn more about it because I know it's very useful, and it gets brought up in Christian Muslim circles. So I want to be able to engage better in that because I'll be honest, I'm not the most well read when it comes to philosophy. So
Okay,
um
but whenever you do, try to look into philosophical speculation so that you know what the start of the book is, that you're not falling into that thing. But yeah, sure, yeah, go for it. So you were saying something about mother.
yeah. So there's a fly flying around me. Sorry. um So what I was saying is she exists as your mother as long as you exist. And what I've heard is since the father eternally existed as the father, therefore the son eternally existed as the son because he exists as father eternally. He didn't become the father at a certain point.
So that's coming after John, right? Because John is talking about the word being the begotten word, and then what you're talking about coexisting is from Nicaea, right?
Oh,
So
is
you,
that where you were alluding to? John 1:14, the begotten of the Father.
yes. So basically, when how the church fathers have said that do not use the word created and
Mhm.
use the word begotten. So they're taking biblical context from it, and then from Nicaea, the coexisting, co-eternal, consubstantial, all those things were added onto it, right? So I'm I'm gonna come back to this, but I just want to say that, regardless of marriage or outside marriage, whatever it is, right? If my mother existed, nobody knew that my mother would have a son, or if she would have all daughters, or if she would have no kids, or there can be a point in time where I would have died prematurely, so 10, 9, 6, 7, and if someone's meeting her 20 years after giving me birth, they would not know about my mother's things. So those things where people could see me because light is reflecting off of me and it's a common knowledge, that is different than someone existing after being begotten from eternity.
Oh, did you want me to say something or?
Yes, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm still kind of trying to. So can I kind of talk about how? Because I don't know if necessarily begotten here is referring to the same Nicene terminology.
It's
I,
not.
don't-
It's
I
not. That's
yeah,
my whole point.
yeah, because I believe it's biblical, but I don't think that's what John is necessarily referring to here in John 1:14.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
And you're right about that.
yeah, because the way I see the being begotten, Jesus being the Son of God in John, it seems to function as a divine title that distinguishes him from the Father. And if you want, I can try to provide examples.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's start with this one.
So, but just going, so what I want you to understand is that right now, when we are discussing, we are taking every historical development of Christianity in context, right? So that's why I'm switching back and forth with Nicaea, the common day belief, and what happened at the time of when Gospels were written, right? So
Yeah.
you are aware of like first two lines of Nicaea. You know what it reads, right?
Repeat what you said. What is?
The have you have read the Nicene Creed, any of the creedal statements? Like
Yes.
if you would pull up, pull it up on your screen. The first page of Nicaea.
What did you say? First page of Nicaea.
Yeah, so nice. The document has multiple pages, right? When you're
Oh yeah,
gonna
there's the
yeah,
canons, I believe they're called.
let's open Christian Reformed Church or something, wherever you can find the first couple of statements from Nicaea.
Right here.
Because
So
there's a distinction even there if you're talking about believing in uh what kind of the numbers of God. So yeah, this one is the different canonical stuff. Yeah, so that top thing.
that this is the creed, I believe, right? Yeah. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
let's go with we believe.
Okay.
Yeah, we believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of all things visible and invisible, and in one Lord Jesus Christ. So this thing leaves room for any, you guys can come under heavy scrutiny when it's stating the first statement like this. And then the only begotten thing is also not justified, going back to David and other stuff. And then this thing of the substance of Father. So this substance is what, when church father talked about, do not call him created. That can be referred to as creation with substance. Begotten is also through some substance. All of these things makes it super hard for anyone to understand or justify the modern day belief of uh, what Christian believe, what happened at Nicaea, or what was the vote count at Nicaea, and how Eusebius was forced to sign the Nicene document. But if you see his later works, they fall into the heresy which is now called Arianism. Just the first line from we believe all the way to the only begotten is super confusing, and it opens all kinds of doors for hammering Christians with like what they're actually talking about.
Is there like a point that you're trying to drive home here?
So I was talking about counting gods and existing
Yeah.
gods. And
Okay.
when they say and in one Lord Jesus Christ, they're kind of separating Jesus from the Father. But what they're gonna form later as three in one kind of thing,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
not what. So yeah.
Um.
You know what, brother? I have to go.
Okay.
I have to start my duty.
Okay. I'm
But
I'm
we
sorry
we
for.
we
Thank you
no,
for your
no
time.
problem.